guys. Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Final Whistle podcast, and oh God, what do we say about game week 9? I'm joined by Ben. Ben, let's get the horrible stuff done first. Brentford 2, Liverpool. Brentford 3, Liverpool 2. I wish it was the other way around. I really do. Wishful thinking on my part. What did you make of that? 4 losses now in a row.
It was just so kind of disjointed. I don't know how to describe, but the defeats to Chelsea and Man United, you were still on the edge of your seat, kind of expecting something to happen. But I don't know about anyone else, but watching that last night, I got about 15, 20 minutes into the second half, and I was just kind of zoning out watching it. It was that bad. There's been a lot already said. A lot of it's true. A lot of it's a bit exaggerated. But 5 defeats in 6. I mean, if any team in the league goes on that sort of run, they're going to be under pressure. So, yeah, the performances are just absolutely shocking at the minute. And I wonder whether Frankfurt just kind of papered over the cracks a little bit. But it's 4 really hard games coming up as well. So they really need to get it sorted sooner rather than later.
They do. And, there's been a lot of injection of new players and new signings and, slot. I guess it's a really, really tricky situation for him because he has spent the money. There's no disputing that. There's no denying that. And, and I think I'm not a manager out person. I think we've seen so many bad examples of it previously where we've had a knee-jerk reaction from a previous club, another club, and it doesn't go quite well. He needs to fix this. He needs to sort this out. He's got those players. We need to give him that time. However, I don't think he's really helped himself with maybe some of the comments post-match saying, oh, teams have figured us out and we don't know how to counteract that. I think that really doesn't help the case for him.
Yeah, and just on that kind of this whole manager out sort of thing, it seems to be mainly just on Twitter, like most things with football these days. But there's 2 things I would just kind of put forward on that. I mean, first of all, Liverpool have had 9 managers in the Premier League era. Liverpool aren't a team that cut managers off, since 1992, that is. So that's really good going. And for context on that, Chelsea have had 12 since 2010. So getting rid of managers is not what Liverpool do at the first chance that they get, especially one that's won his Premier League title in his first season. There's been lots of money spent, but it's a valid reason it's going to take time to get all these players gelling and the style right and the formation right. I think what's not helping them is there's quite a few teams in the league that have brought in a lot of players and they kind of seem to be hitting the ground running. But I think it's only a matter of time before the individual quality clicks. That's not my worry. I think Wirtz and Isak, etc., will all come good eventually. And to be honest, I think Wirtz has been good anyway, just because of this whole goal and assist thing. I think it's more the team kind of cohesion that's really worrying me. I said last night it's not a Liverpool team and the fact that they don't fight for each other and you can talk about tactics and formations all you want, but that's the most important thing on a football pitch.
It is, and I think the thing that really kind of got me, Ben, yesterday, and I just want to quickly just end on this, was it was a worldie goal by Mo Salah, and we'll forget it. We will forget it because of the context in which he scored in. A bit like Sturridge in the Europa final against Sevilla, it's got that vibe about it. But the thing that really kind of grabbed me was the fact that Liverpool really got their shooting boots on. I think it was on the 96th minute, and that bothers me because that intensity and that hunger should have been there from, kickoff. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. I mean, there was no real. I could be wrong. I haven't watched the game back or anything. I don't want to. But off the top of my head, I can't think of many clear chances in the first half, and like you say, we left it too late before we really started going for it. It's just a shame. It's such a shame because nobody wants to get to the point of October and feel like the season's over, and obviously it's not. I think we're only, but with 7 points off the top, we've clawed back up bigger than that to teams better than this Arsenal team as well. That's no disrespect to them, but I remember one season we were 10 or more points behind Man City, and we clawed it back to a point and took them all the way to the end of the season. So it's not impossible, but the performances at the minute don't kind of give us much hope.
They don't, no. And we're going to move on. Let's move on to some other Saturday games. Let's just give our thoughts as Liverpool supporters. Chelsea 1, Sunderland 2. I mean, I love this one. And it was a last grasp goal as well by Talibi. What I love about Sunderland is the fact they went a goal down. It didn't bother them. It didn't faze them. And very, very impressive. I have to say, on a little side note, the promoted side, we spoke about this way back when you and I did Euro Incision. The final whistle. I've not done this in ages, as you can tell, but I've been doing my Euro Incision. The final whistle, you and I spoke, and we were very impressed with the newly promoted sides. And Sunderland, I really hope they do stay up.
Yeah, and I think they've got every chance of doing that. I think it's 17 points already that they're on, and kind of if you're looking at that sort of 34, 35 point mark, already halfway there. Still unbeaten at home. They look really good at home, and they're such a good watch as well. They're such an exciting team, and defensively they're amazing for a newly promoted team. They've recruited so well. The manager's really, really clever. Everything seems to be going really well for them, and they're about to head into a really tough run of fixtures, which will really test them. I mean, yesterday was meant to be one of them, and they came out really well from that, so maybe that's a sign of things to come. But yeah, so impressive, and it's brilliant to see a new team who, let's face it, they got promoted on 76 points last season. They didn't really fly in the championship. They were 1-0 down with about 10 minutes left in the playoff final as well, so yeah, they've come on leaps and bounds, and it's brilliant to see. And Chelsea, I think, will be kicking themselves over that, especially the winning goal. I mean, time kind of just stands still, and Sunderland capitalised. But yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, and they did it to Liverpool, so you know what? It just all kind of spins around. What has happened to Man United? Because Man United 4, Brighton 2. Their forwards have been, I'll be honest, they look a bit more threatening now. I feel like it's clicking. You and I, previously when we spoke on the final whistle, it was the final ball, the quality that just wasn't there. Almost like overthinking things a bit too much. But, I think it's a fantastic result for Man United. And, they've finally got a few wins together as well. So, great for Amorim and their supporters. Do you think they're in for a shout for top 4?
Not quite, because I think there's a few teams that are going to pick up. But I think, obviously, touch wood, we will pick up and take one of those spots. I think Man City will take one of those spots. I think Arsenal will, and I think Chelsea, with the squad they have, should. But they're definitely going to be in and around it. I think this season everyone's just beating everyone, and they have recruited quite smartly. I mean, I really rate Cunha. And then Bremo looks like he's kind of settling in more. So it looks really promising for them. Obviously, that's 3 wins on the bounce now, I think, for them. So, yeah, it's mad how kind of 10 days, 2 weeks can really change fortunes, because it wasn't that long ago everyone was questioning Amorim, and now he's the guy that's going to lead them back to where they once were. But I think time will be the true test of Man United's season and whether they have really turned a corner.
Yeah, and some other Saturday results. Newcastle 2, Fulham 1. Last minute goal for Newcastle there as well. And of course on Friday, which I completely missed because I was on another dimension altogether. But Leeds United beating West Ham. I think I've got a feeling, we'll speak about the other team as well. I think there's 2 teams that look like they're in serious trouble. Another one could potentially be joining them. And for me right now, it is West Ham and Wolves.
Yes. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, West Ham, I don't know if you've seen any of their home games lately, but the fans seem to have literally just thrown the towel in. Obviously, that stadium's not great for generating atmosphere in the first place, but I think when things get toxic, it gets really toxic, and they just look so flat. And I mean, Leeds thoroughly deserved the win on Friday, and they're kind of the opposite to what West Ham are at the minute. Obviously, you mentioned Wolves. Obviously, got beat off Burnley this weekend, and it's just a mess for them. And the stupid thing with Wolves is they give the manager a 3-year contract 5 games into the season, and they were awful then. So if they are going to sack him, it's going to cost an absolute fortune as well. And I think he had a bit of a bust up with the fans at the final whistle as well, Wolves' manager. So, yeah, I think those two are really, really in trouble. And I think they know it as well. I saw Jared Bowen's interview after the game, and he was very blunt and said, I mean, some teams think they're too big to go down, but they're in a real situation. It's going to be interesting. It's really going to be interesting because them two are already starting to get kind of cut adrift a little bit.
Indeed. And of course, Wolves 2, Burnley 3. Again, I think it was a last-minute goal by Burnley as well. I think you're right. I think the Wolves manager looks like he's potentially in danger as well. Let's talk about another one. Bournemouth 2, Nottingham Forest 0. They're probably my third pick. I mean, so much has happened with Nottingham Forest, Ben, since you and I did this podcast.
Yeah.
You know, Nuno gets sacked, who's now at West Ham. Bring in Big Ange, who you've never really been convinced by.
That was never going to work, by the way.
Yeah, he's been sacked. We've got Dyche back in the Premier League. It's just like...
Yeah, I think they'll be okay because of Dyche. I just have this thing where I can't see a Dyche team who, because Forest are so defensively sound to begin with Dyche in charge, they should be pretty strong at the back, and they still have got some quality going forward. So I think they will be okay, but that's another team that's just made a mess of the start of the season, haven't they?
They have. Right, we've got 3 games to go. Who should we discuss next? Arsenal, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Had to be Eze 1-0. They're not. You spoke about them when you were doing your Liverpool analysis. So it's just really frustrating because, like, they just keep scoring off set pieces. I'm not judging them because we did it against Frankfurt, but they keep getting sheets. They've again spent big money in the transfer window in the summer, and they bought what they needed, and it's clicking. And it's frustrating as a Liverpool supporter, but you're absolutely delighted if you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? Everyone's kind of jumping on them for these set pieces, but I'll tell you one thing, I would kill for Liverpool to score more set pieces or just score goals.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it was David Lynch actually who I saw one of his tweets earlier. Who, Arsenal, I think, will win the league, and I've said it for a few weeks now because I think their floor, like as David Lynch said, their floor is just higher than anyone's ceiling anyway. So even when they're not the best, the chances are going to scrape through with a win. It's annoying because some people have this outlook that they're not a great team, but they are. They're a really good team, and the depth that they've got as well is scary when you look at the players who they've got to come back from injury, whether that's Havertz or Gabriel Jesus or who they've got on the bench, bringing on Martinelli and Trossard and Eze in and out of the team. And with that back line, I mean, I think it's only 3 goals they've conceded in the Premier League this season so far. So maybe they're going after Chelsea's record, but yeah, if you've got a defence like that, you've got every chance of winning the league.
You do. Let's talk about Everton. Everton 0, Spurs 3. I think Moyes will be quite disappointed with this one, but I love the fact that Sky Sports put a graphic up saying only Everton have conceded from a set piece.
Yeah. And then they conceded,
Yeah, and then Gary Neville saying, I think we're going to have to change that graphic. Literally said it, and it happened. Yeah. 2 for Van der Beek, and Sarr gets a goal in silly time, but it was pretty much game done and dusted, wasn't it, at that point? Everton, I think they're in a really healthy position, in my opinion. Like, they're not really in that relegation scramble. They've got a new stadium. They've got Moyes back. Grealish, they seem to be really impressed with. I think they'll turn a leaf over with this one. I don't think it'll impact them too much, but I guess losing 3-0 at home might just sting them a little. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, losing 3-0 at home is never ideal, but it wasn't a 3-0 game at all. Everton had more than enough chances, and Tottenham are a strange one because they're struggling at home, but they're really, really thriving away from home, and I think they're perfectly set up to go away from home with Palhinha in midfield, and you've got the pace on the counter, and Tottenham's defence with Van de Ven back and Romero still to come back. I think they're perfectly set up for away games. I think they're lacking that edge at home, kind of breaking down like deep blocks like Maddison and Kulusevski, for example. Xavi Simons hasn't quite lived up to their hype just yet. But yeah, I think Everton will kick themselves over. It definitely wasn't a 3-0 game, but it's kind of Tottenham won't have any complaints and they'll be absolutely buzzing with that. So, yeah.
They will. Aston Villa, see, they started off the season quite poor. I remember they went for a fair few games without even scoring a goal. It seemed like we were waiting an age. But here they are, they beat Man City 1-0. It seemed like a fairly even game in terms of shots. I mean, I think Man City did have more shots on more shots, but they were quite equal in shots for target. Possession was quite equal as well. What do you make of Man City? Do you feel like, I don't know, there may be 2 seasons still off what they need to do in terms of being that juggernaut kind of team? Something isn't quite right. They'll have a good game and then they'll fall off a little, and there's no consistency. That's my takeaway from Man City anyway.
Yeah, I said a few weeks ago, I think it was when they played Arsenal and they were 1-0 up and Martinelli scored in the last minute, and fans happy that Arsenal had scored because a draw was the best result for us, and I just couldn't disagree more. I don't think this Man City team's anywhere near winning the title. I think Haaland's done a lot of the heavy lifting for them so far this season. And on the ball, I mean, if you watch them, they can't keep the ball for longer than 15, 20 seconds, and that's not like them at all. And defensively, I think they're still very vulnerable, just like last season. So yeah, it's annoying because I think Liverpool should have definitely been ahead of both Arsenal and City, or at least near to Arsenal. But yeah, there's something not quite right with City at the minute. And typically Villa's coming into form, and who's got Villa next Saturday? Liverpool.
I know. It's really, really grim when you actually think about it. You know, like they're up next for Liverpool. I mean, I think we've kind of talked about all the teams in the Premier League, so I guess we're going to come to an end. But just your quick thoughts, Ben. What do you want to see Liverpool do? Do you want them to kind of defend better? Do you want them to be a bit more astute? Because I feel like they were really, really stupid against Brentford. We know they're really good on throw-ins. Like, that is what they're pretty much good at. Don't give them chances. You know, that would be great. What kind of... It seems like everything's everywhere. And you said you don't recognise Liverpool. What's the one thing that, you know, we can't bite off more than what we can chew, but if there's one thing that you feel like needs addressing first, what would it be for you?
I think it sounds so simplistic, and I've already touched on it, but it is the kind of the atmosphere in the squad looks a bit down. You see people pointing fingers at each other and bickering with each other on the pitch instead of getting behind each other. And I think there's a few simple things that stop. I wouldn't have started Kirk as the other night. I think Robertson done all right during the week. You know, I think it would have just made sense to keep Robertson in the team and take Kirk as out the firing line. But I mean, with Palace coming up next in the cup, normally you would rotate, but I don't think you can afford to rotate in that game anymore. Because if you lose that game and that's you're out of the League Cup, you're 7 points off the lead in the league, 6 defeats out of 7, with Real Madrid, Man City, and Villa coming up. But I mean, it looks very short at that point. So I think he's got to go strong during the week in the cup, and that's probably the one thing that I really want him to do, is not rotate too heavily. I mean, there's a chance that we see Endo at centre back on Wednesday because of the defensive injuries, but I think you've got to just play your starting 11, your strongest 11, with maybe the odd changes with the likes of Robertson, and where you can kind of bring them in and there's not much change in quality or tactical fit and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just, I think what makes a Liverpool team more than anything is the togetherness and the fighting. That's kind of really lacking at the minute.
It's a good point. You know, start from the bare minimum, the basics, everyone playing for each other, playing for the shirt. I think that's a great point. I think, fix that first, and then maybe everything else just kind of comes together, because they look like a bunch of strangers on that pitch at the moment. You are right. Ben, that is us. We're done. Take it away. Where can people find you? I know you're a really busy guy. What are you working on?
So Ben Pescott Journal on Twitter, or X, I should say. Got loads of interviews with former Premier League players at the minute. It seems like every week I'm getting an interview with Ray Parlour, so any Arsenal fans, if you're watching this, I don't see why you would. Or if any Liverpool fans are kind of wanting to get the down low on our rivals, and that's almost every week at the minute. And yeah, a few former Liverpool players and stuff, so that's always on there. And any articles I do for the site or for our new Substack page, that'll be on there as well. So check it out.
Wonderful. Do give Ben a follow. Do check out his work. I'll be checking it out as well. For my part, nothing much to plug here. I did a Euro incision. That'll be back now. The Final Whistle podcast is going to be a regular thing as well. Hopefully next week when we speak, we can be actually talking about a win. That would be great. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Take care. And up the Reds, I guess.